สวัสดีครับ I'm Point from ค้นพบ Over the last few videos, we've been talking about the value of solitude and happiness. And when we really begin to implement and apply these concepts into practice, whether it's through self-reflection, contemplation, or meditation, to really set aside some time to be by yourself in silence and to watch what's going on in your mind. Watch it objectively, observe it without needing to judge it or without needing to try to control it. We will rather quickly begin to develop the insights that actually all our experiences, including our emotions and our feelings, are actually happening within. They are created from within by you. And so, therefore, this leads to another deeper level of understanding that when we react to outside circumstances or when we seek to control outside circumstances in some way, shape, or form in order to make us feel happy, in one sense, we're giving our power away to that outside thing, outside situation, some person, right? This is not to say that outside circumstances are not important. Of course not. They are important in our lives, but that you don't want to make it everything. So what this means is when you react to outside circumstances, in one sense, you're giving your power away. For example, if somebody insults me and calls me names, and I get frustrated, I get angry, I get upset, I get mad, and I say that I'm angry because of what that person said, then in that sense, I'm actually misunderstanding what's going on here. And I'm giving my power away because I am essentially saying that that person has the power to make me feel certain emotions, in this case anger, by just saying something. And it is misunderstanding reality because I am now looking outside myself and saying that that is the cause of my experience of anger. But if I consider what's going on here by the practices that we talked about that aims to cultivate self-awareness and mindfulness, then we'll begin to see that actually, wait a minute, isn't it actually the way in which I am responding to that person's behavior and their words? Isn't it the way that I'm interpreting their message and reacting to their message and giving it meaning? Isn't it therefore my perception and my reactivity, my reaction, that is causing me to get angry, to become angry? If that's the case, and I realize that this is actually an inside job per se, then I am much more inclined to look inwards. I'm much more inclined to take back power because I know that only I have the power to change that experience because I created it. If I created it, who has the power to change it? Who is responsible for that experience? Of course, nobody but me. Nobody but you. Nobody but us. Only we have that power. So these were the concepts from the previous few videos. But what I really want to do today is push this concept further and really see how far we can take it. Really learn to challenge ourselves to be in complete or develop complete inner stability such that we are not affected by outside circumstances, no matter how quote unquote upsetting or how unpreferable they may be. Let's use some examples. In the way that we live life, most of us, I'm sure you would agree, including myself obviously, we are always in the habit of chasing after something, some situation or some circumstance or some person or some relationship in order to experience life more deeply or to, in other words, be happy, right? We want something because we think we'll be more happy when we get it. Okay. But what happens when you work hard towards something, whether it's your career, whether it's achieving a financial milestone, whether it's taking care of your health, whether it's a relationship, a friendship, a relationship with a colleague, a boss, a relationship with your family, and most importantly, which is often the one that we often have a high desire for, understandably, is a romantic relationship. What happens if the other person does not respond in a way that you would have hoped for? What happens if you really look forward to that trip that you are planning with your friends, but they cancel last minute? What happens if you got rejected in a relationship? What happens if your partner leaves you? What happens if your partner says that they'd rather move on without you? And on a typical sense, on a normal way of reacting, we would feel that that's a big disappointment. And in one sense, we would expect that somebody in that situation would feel really sad or disappointed or let down, right? But you notice how this is still responding and reacting to outside external circumstances. So this begs the question, is it possible to still maintain inner stability, inner clarity, and even inner joyfulness and happiness unconditionally, regardless of what's happening externally outside of you? This seems paradoxical, isn't it? What do you mean, Point? I want that, right? I want something, but you're saying that you must learn to be happy first, regardless of whether or not you have it? It seems like a counterintuitive position to propose, right? This is a big paradox. But actually, if you think about it, if we do this practice that we always talk about in each and every week, in each and every video, especially the last few ones, and if we really understand that our experiences are created from within through the meaning that we give to some apparent experience, to the meaning that we give and the meaning we construct in relation to our physical feelings, in relation to our perception, in relation to how that person responds to you, right? If we understand that our experience of happiness, elation, disappointment, or sadness, or negative or positive feeling is actually always a result of the way in which we construct that meaning, then this begs the question, can you maintain your joyfulness for life regardless of what's happening externally? Regardless of whether or not you get that job promotion you had hoped for? Regardless of whether or not that person who you fancy or who you like returns the same feelings for you? Isn't this interesting? But you see, you don't get there by trying to just, in a shallow way, in a superficial way, you don't achieve this by trying to lie to yourself and force yourself to feel happy or be happy. It doesn't work that way because you're not being true to your feelings, you see. However, with the practice of mindfulness, meditation, contemplation, self-reflection, what I would argue happens is you begin to have more control over your emotional state. By learning to be less reactive to outside external circumstances, one begins to truly take back power. Because if one truly understands that their experience in life is the result of their own doing, by their own construct, the meaning they give to an experience, how they process and interpret a situation. In other words, how they perceive their situation. Then can't you also declare full autonomy? Can't you declare full sovereignty? Can't you declare full independence? Can't you declare full unconditional happiness by finding joy and finding a sense of fulfillment and empowerment by knowing that you have the power to not be saddened or not be let down or not be swinging in your emotions just because something in your life situation is not yet going according to what you had hoped for. It's not going in accordance to plan. And the more you begin to do this practice, the more you realize, the more you ask the question, wait a minute, what am I doing here to cause myself to still be reactive to that person's poor behavior towards me? So for example, if you have a colleague who is, being manipulative, who is being cunning, who is, being mean to you, treating you badly, directly towards you and behind your back, could you still develop yourself to a point where you still remain completely undisturbed by that? And isn't that true empowerment? And that's the question that I want to leave for you to think about in today's video. What I would say is that is actually possible, but it must come from a place of high self-awareness, high mindfulness, and the practice to cultivate this is, for example, through meditation, through teaching yourself to have the emotional self-insights, emotional self-understanding, the skill sets to understand what's going on in yourself emotionally, and to see that you're actually creating that. And by the same token, you also have the power to not let yourself be a victim to your emotions or to outside external circumstances. Just because your plans got canceled, just because a date rejected you, just because your boss didn't give you the promotion, does not mean that you need to rob yourself of your joyfulness and appreciation and gratitude for life. And the more you gravitate towards this perspective or this attitude of life, the more empowered you truly feel and become. Because I guarantee you, there is immense joy, there is immense satisfaction to be had in the knowledge that nobody has the power to control how you feel. Even if it's something that you really, really want, really, really badly. Only you have the power to control how you feel. And if you're able to remove yourself from the old reactive, the old negative emotional patterns, and be stable, be grounded in clarity, in wisdom, you will find immense satisfaction, and you will know that this is the path to walk in life. This is the path towards self-mastery. Again, many people might misunderstand that what I'm saying in this video is to become detached or to cut your desires. No, I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying you can still have your desires, but by the same token, you also have the power to not be a victim to life should those desires not yet happen for you, or not yet play out for you, or not yet be achieved in the way that you had hoped for. Because you always have a baseline level of happiness, grounded in knowing your true strength, your true power, which is tied to being in line with the present moment. Not needing to be reactive to outside external circumstances. Your parents may be arguing, your siblings may be arguing, people around you may be arguing and finding reasons to justify their anger. Maybe they're arguing about the politics, maybe they're arguing about the economy, about their business, about their relationships amongst themselves, whatever it may be. You have the power to not be swayed away and not be dragged into that. You have the power to remain clear and still have clarity and joyfulness despite outer circumstances. I'm not saying this is easy to develop or to cultivate. I'm not saying that you'll get there overnight. I certainly am not there yet. I certainly have not mastered it yet. But the more work I try to do, the more curious I become, and the more inclined I am to want to really master myself. And each time I see myself starting to sway towards a negative feeling or negative emotion, I start more and more now to realize that, wait a minute, there must be something wrong that I'm doing here. That's out of alignment with happiness, out of alignment with the present moment. And therefore, I'm giving my power away in some way, shape, or form. Wouldn't it be better and much more satisfying to take it back? And you have full control. You have full responsibility. And that is what I want to share today. I think this wraps up the concepts that we've been talking about in the past few videos. I hope it was valuable for you, and I invite you to join me as we walk the path of self-actualization. It may be a long road, but that's the whole point of it. The journey is not supposed to end, right? It's about who you become in the process of transformation. And that is very, very joyful. Okay, thanks for watching. Also, I will be taking a break. I do apologize for that. I'll be taking a break. I'll be on a trip for the next few weeks throughout the country, throughout Thailand. So I'll be pausing, making videos for a few weeks, and I hope to get back to normal by the end of the month. Thank you so much for watching. Please let me know what you think in the comments. If you like the video, please do like, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you next time. สวัสดีครับ